Welcome, and thank you for joining this journey of strength, growth, and transformation. You are about to step into a powerful audiobook that will challenge you, guide you, and help you unlock the mental resilience required to rise above comfort and face the challenges that shape greatness. This is Train Your Mind to Do Hard Things audiobook, written and published by ReadFlow Audiobooks. Life does not reward ease, it rewards courage, perseverance, and the discipline to do what most people avoid. The ability to embrace hard things is the difference between staying stuck and breaking through, between mediocrity and mastery, between a life of regret and a life of fulfillment. This audiobook has been created to help you build that ability. You will learn practical strategies, mental frameworks, and daily disciplines that train your mind to push past excuses, confront obstacles, and strengthen your identity as someone who does not back down when life becomes difficult. Take a deep breath, clear your distractions, and prepare yourself, because what you are about to discover can transform not only your habits, but also the trajectory of your life. Now let's begin. Chapter 1. The Power of Doing Hard Things. Most people go through life seeking the path of least resistance. They choose comfort over challenge, ease over effort, and short-term relief over long-term reward. Yet, deep down they feel a quiet frustration, a nagging sense that they are capable of more but keep holding themselves back. This is the trap of avoiding hard things. The truth is simple. Your growth lives on the other side of discomfort. Every time you step into a difficult task, every time you lean into resistance instead of running away, you train your mind to become stronger, sharper, and more resilient. Hard things are not obstacles meant to block your path. They are stepping stones designed to build your character. Why hard things matter? Think about the people you admire most. The innovators, leaders, athletes, or entrepreneurs who inspire millions. What do they all have in common? They consistently chose to do the hard things. They woke up early, to train when no one was watching. They endured rejection, failure, and criticism without giving up. They pushed through self-doubt and fatigue. Doing hard things isn't just about achievement, it's about identity. Every time you face difficulty and overcome it, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, disciplined, and unstoppable. Conversely, every time you avoid the challenge, you strengthen the identity of someone who quits. Hard things are the forge where mental toughness is built. Without them, you cannot unlock your full potential. The comfort zone trap. Your brain is wired to protect you. It seeks safety, comfort, and predictability. This was useful when our ancestors had to survive dangerous environments. But in today's world, that instinct can work against you. Avoiding effort might keep you safe from temporary stress, but it also locks you in a life of stagnation. When you only do what feels easy, you deny yourself the growth that comes from testing your limits. Comfort numbs your spirit, while challenges awaken it. The paradox of life is that true peace and fulfillment come not from avoiding struggle, but from mastering it. Rewiring your mind for challenge. Training your mind to do hard things begins with awareness. The moment you catch yourself resisting a task because it feels uncomfortable, that's your signal. That is your opportunity to break the pattern. Instead of asking, "How can I avoid this?" train yourself to ask, "What will I gain if I push through?" For example, waking up early to exercise may feel exhausting, but the long-term rewards, energy, discipline, and health, far outweigh the initial discomfort. Having a difficult conversation with honesty may feel risky, but it leads to stronger relationships and deeper respect. Your brain will try to bargain with you, whispering excuses. "Do it later. You deserve a break. This isn't urgent." But every time you ignore that voice and act anyway, you rewire your mind to value growth over comfort. The first step. Small wins. The secret to doing hard things isn't to start with the biggest mountain. It's to begin with small, consistent victories. Choose tasks that stretch you but don't overwhelm you. Take a cold shower to build discomfort tolerance. Put away distractions and work with deep focus for 1 hour. Each time you follow through, you build a reputation with yourself. You begin to trust that when you commit to something, you will do it. That trust compounds over time, creating unstoppable momentum. The mental shift. From pain to purpose. Doing hard things will always feel uncomfortable. That never goes away. But the difference between those who succeed and those who quit is how they interpret discomfort. Unsuccessful people see struggle as punishment. Successful people see it as progress. The pain of doing hard things is not a sign you are failing. It is proof you are growing. Think of a muscle. When you lift heavy weights, it tears slightly, and in repairing itself, it becomes stronger. The same is true for your mind. Every time you face resistance, you are stretching your capacity. Every time you push past doubt, you are rewiring your identity. When you reframe discomfort as a signal of growth, you stop fearing hard things and start seeking them. Building the identity of a challenger. True change happens when doing hard things becomes part of who you are, not just something you try occasionally. This means shifting your identity. Instead of saying, I want to be disciplined, you begin to say, I am disciplined. Instead of, I hope I can push through, you affirm, I always push through. Identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as someone who consistently does what others avoid, your actions naturally align with that belief. This is why every small victory matters, because each one casts a vote for the person you are becoming. Action steps for this chapter. To apply what you've learned, here are practical steps you can take right now. Identify avoidance patterns. Write down 3 tasks you've been avoiding because they feel uncomfortable. Commit to one small win. Pick one task and do it today. No excuses. Prove to yourself that you can act despite discomfort. Reframe discomfort. When you feel resistance, remind yourself, this is the feeling of growth. Track your wins. Keep a journal of every hard thing you push through. Over time, this log will remind you of your strength. Closing thought for Chapter 1. Doing hard things isn't about punishing yourself, it's about liberating yourself. Every challenge you face builds the strength you need for the next one. By training your mind to embrace difficulty, instead of avoiding it, you step into a new level of power. The level where greatness lives. This is where transformation begins. Not tomorrow, not when life feels easy, but here, now, with the decision to take the harder road and rise because of it. Chapter 2. Self-belief and the power of identity. At the core of every great achievement lies a single unshakable truth. You must believe in yourself before anyone else will. Self-belief is not arrogance, and it is not blind optimism. It is the quiet, steady confidence that no matter how difficult the road becomes, you will find a way forward. Without it, perseverance collapses under the weight of doubt. With it, you can endure storms that would break the strongest among us. The foundation of perseverance. Why do some people keep going when others quit? The difference rarely comes down to talent, intelligence, or even opportunity. The difference is belief. When you believe in your ability to endure, you create a reservoir of inner strength that fuels perseverance. This belief acts as an anchor when everything around you feels uncertain. Think of the people who have defied impossible odds. Athletes who trained despite countless injuries. Entrepreneurs who rebuilt after failure. Leaders who rose from obscurity to influence millions. Their power came not from perfect conditions, but from an unshakable identity. I am someone who does not give up. Identity, the engine of behavior. Your actions always align with the story you tell yourself about who you are. If your identity is weak, if you secretly believe you are not capable, not disciplined, not worthy, your actions will reflect that. You will hesitate, procrastinate, or abandon the hard road when it gets tough. But when you shape a strong identity, your actions transform. If you decide, deep down, I am disciplined, then even when you feel lazy, you will rise to the challenge, because it is inconsistent with who you are. If you affirm I am resilient, then setbacks become temporary rather than permanent. Identity is more powerful than willpower. Willpower fluctuates. Identity endures. This is why training your mind to do hard things must be built on the foundation of who you believe you are. Breaking the old story. Most people live trapped in an old narrative. I always quit when it gets tough. I'm not strong enough. I don't have what it takes. These stories often come from childhood experiences, past failures, or the opinions of others. But just because that has been your story until now does not mean it must define your future. The first step to self-belief is recognizing and rejecting the lies that weaken your identity. Write them down, confront them, and then replace them with new, empowering truths. New story: I am someone who follows through until the end. Every time you rewrite the story, you weaken the chains of doubt and strengthen the foundation of belief. The feedback loop of action and identity. Belief fuels action, and action strengthens belief. This creates a powerful loop. When you believe in yourself, you take bold action. When you take bold action, you gain evidence of your strength, which reinforces your belief. Over time, this cycle builds unstoppable perseverance. This is why even small wins matter so much. Each time you follow through, you add another brick to the foundation of your identity. You begin to trust yourself at a deeper level, and that trust becomes the engine that carries you through harder and harder challenges. Here are daily practices to strengthen it. This identity-based affirmations. Begin each day by affirming who you are becoming. For example, I am resilient. I am disciplined. I do hard things. Speak them with conviction, not as wishes but as declarations of truth. Celebrate small victories. Each day, acknowledge one difficult task you completed. It may seem minor, but it is evidence of your strength. The brain believes what it sees repeated. Surround yourself with proof. Create an environment that reflects your identity. Post reminders, quotes or past achievements where you can see them daily. Let your surroundings reinforce the belief that you are someone who perseveres. This identity shift keeps you moving forward instead of getting stuck in shame. Self-belief under pressure. The real test of identity happens under pressure. When the stakes are high, when everything seems to be crumbling, will you cling to the old story of weakness, or will you stand firm in the new story of strength? This is where perseverance is either born or destroyed. If your identity is fragile, pressure will crush. But if you have built a strong identity, pressure will only reveal your resilience. It will expose the work you've done to believe in yourself even when no one else did. Remember, storms don't create character, they reveal it. And what they reveal is always the identity you have been practicing. Create your new identity. Rewrite those stories into powerful affirmations about who you are now becoming. Prove it with action. Take one small but challenging action today that aligns with your new identity. Reflect and record. At the end of the day, write down what you accomplished and how it reinforced your belief. Closing thought for Chapter 2. Perseverance is not powered by raw effort alone. It is fueled by belief, and belief is rooted in identity. When you see yourself as someone who does hard things, your actions follow naturally, and the more you act in alignment with that identity, the stronger your self-belief becomes. This is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results, not by waiting for confidence to appear, but by declaring who they are and living in alignment with that truth. When you train your mind to believe in yourself and anchor your identity in strength, you become unstoppable. You no longer fear the challenge, because you know the challenge will only prove who you already are. Chapter 3. Embracing struggle and turning obstacles into fuel for growth. Life will test you. It will not ask if you are ready. It will not wait until you feel prepared. The challenges will come, often unannounced, and they will demand one thing: your response. Most people see struggle as a curse, a barrier, something to avoid at all costs. But those who train their minds to do hard things understand the truth. Struggle is not your enemy. It is the forge that shapes you. The difference between those who thrive and those who crumble lies in how they view struggle. Do you see it as proof of your weakness, or do you see it as the very opportunity to grow stronger? This single mindset shift is the dividing line between a life of mediocrity and a life of mastery. Struggle as a teacher. Every obstacle carries within it a lesson. Pain, failure, disappointment. These are not punishments, they are teachers. The problem is that most people try to escape the lesson too quickly. They rush to comfort, numb the pain, and avoid facing the reality of what they could learn. But growth only happens when you sit with the struggle long enough to extract its wisdom. Like lifting heavy weights, the resistance tears down your muscles, only for them to rebuild stronger. Struggle works the same way for your mind and character. Ask yourself, what is this obstacle teaching me? What new strength am I developing through this pain? When you reframe the struggle as education, you stop running from it and begin using it. The myth of the easy path. Somewhere deep down, many people hope that life will eventually become easy, that if they can just get through this season, they'll finally arrive at a place of rest, where nothing tests them again. But here's the reality, there is no easy path. The path of growth will always include obstacles, and the path of avoidance leads to stagnation. You don't get to choose whether life is hard. You only get to choose which kind of hard you will face. Will you face the hard of discipline, resilience, and steady progress, or will you face the harder pain of regret, wasted potential, and unfulfilled dreams? The struggle is unavoidable. The only question is, will you embrace it and let it transform you? Obstacles as fuel. What separates the unstoppable from the ordinary is not the absence of obstacles, but the ability to convert them into energy. Just like an engine burns fuel to create forward motion, you can burn struggle to generate progress. When something blocks your path, you can either complain about it or decide to use it. A closed door becomes the chance to find another way. A failure becomes evidence that you are stretching beyond your comfort zone. A setback becomes the very material that builds resilience. This is not motivational fluff. It is psychological reality. When your brain encounters difficulty, it automatically interprets it as danger. But when you reframe difficulty as fuel, you retrain your brain to respond with courage rather than fear. Here's the formula. Acknowledge the strength gained and use it as evidence for future battles. Every obstacle is fuel, but only if you choose to burn it. Training yourself to love the struggle. This may sound extreme, but the highest performers in every field don't just tolerate struggle, they come to love it. Why? Because they recognize that growth only happens through resistance. Think of an elite athlete who smiles when the workout gets brutal. They're not smiling because it's easy. They're smiling because they know every drop of sweat is proof they are becoming more powerful. They welcome the struggle because they've connected it to their future victory. You can do the same in everyday life. The next time you face a challenge, whether it's a difficult conversation, a demanding project, or a moment of self-doubt, train yourself to say, "Good, this is making me stronger." At first it will feel unnatural, but over time, your brain will associate struggle with progress, and instead of fearing difficulty, you will lean into it. The growth mindset in action. Psychologists call this the growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort and learning. People with a growth mindset see obstacles not as proof of failure, but as stepping stones toward mastery. Here's what it looks like in action. Growth mindset. I failed, which means I'm stretching beyond my current limits, and that's exactly how I improve. When you train your mind to adopt this perspective, nothing can break you. Even your failures become victories because they accelerate your growth. Action steps for this chapter. To make this principle practical, try the following. Reframe one current struggle. Take a problem you're facing right now, and write down 3 ways it could make you stronger. Keep a struggle journal. Each day record one obstacle you encountered and the lesson it taught you. Over time, this will rewire your brain to see challenges as growth opportunities. Seek resistance. Once a week, intentionally do something difficult that stretches your comfort zone. This could be physical training, learning a new skill, or facing a fear. Build the muscle of embracing struggle. Closing thought for Chapter 3. Struggle is not punishment. It is preparation. Every obstacle you face is shaping you into the person capable of carrying the weight of your future success. Instead of running from difficulty, run toward it. Instead of despising the resistance, thank it for sharpening you. When you train your mind to embrace struggle and turn obstacles into fuel, you unlock a level of perseverance that most people never reach. You no longer ask, "When will life get easier?" Instead you declare, I will get stronger. And with that mindset, no obstacle can stop you. It can only strengthen you. Chapter 4. Discipline, consistency and building unstoppable habits. If perseverance is the engine that keeps you moving, then discipline and consistency are the gears that keep that engine running smoothly day after day. Without them, motivation fizzles, momentum stalls, and the vision of who you want to become remains only that, a vision. But when you master discipline and consistency, you no longer rely on fleeting emotion. You create unstoppable habits that carry you forward even on the days when you don't feel like moving at all. Why discipline beats motivation. Most people wait for motivation to arrive before they act. They say, I'll start when I feel ready, or I'll work on it when I feel inspired. The truth is, if you wait for motivation, you will stay stuck for most of your life. Motivation is inconsistent. It's emotional. It comes and goes depending on your mood, your environment, and the challenges you're facing. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care about your mood. Discipline is showing up whether you feel like it or not. It is making a promise to yourself and keeping it. It is doing the hard thing today, knowing it will pay off tomorrow. Here's the reality. Motivation may spark you, but discipline is what sustains you. The most successful people are not the most motivated, they are the most disciplined. Consistency creates compounding power. Think of discipline as the engine, and consistency as the road you travel. Doing the right thing once will not change your life. Doing it every single day will. Consistency transforms small actions into unstoppable momentum. The same principle applies to your mind, your body, and your character. Reading one page won't make you wise, but reading every day will. Exercising once won't make you strong, but exercising consistently will. Speaking one truth won't make you courageous, but speaking the truth again and again will build unshakable integrity. Consistency is not glamorous. It is often boring, repetitive, and unexciting, but it is the only way to create transformation that lasts. Building habits that stick. Habits are the bridge between discipline and consistency. Once an action becomes a habit, you no longer fight to do it. It becomes automatic. Think of brushing your teeth. You don't argue with yourself about whether to do it. It's simply part of who you are. To build unstoppable habits, follow these principles. Anchor new habits to old ones. Pair a new habit with something you already do. For example, if you want to practice gratitude, do it right after brushing your teeth in the morning. Make it harder to fail. Set up your environment so that success is the easiest option. If you want to stop wasting time on your phone, put it in another room when you're working. Track your progress. Seeing your streaks build creates momentum. A habit tracker, a calendar, or even simple check marks can remind you that you are building something valuable. Reward consistency, not intensity. It's not about doing one massive workout, but about showing up daily. Reward yourself for consistency because that's where transformation lives. Discipline as self-respect. Discipline is not punishment. It's not about beating yourself into submission. Discipline is self-respect. It's keeping the promises you make to yourself. When you say, I will do this, and then you follow through, you build trust with yourself. That trust becomes confidence. On the other hand, every time you break your own promises, you weaken your self-belief. You teach yourself that your words don't matter. This is why discipline is so powerful. It reinforces your identity as someone who follows through. Ask yourself, do I want to be the type of person who quits when it's hard, or the type of person who does what must be done no matter what? Your answer is revealed in your discipline, not your words. The myth of balance. Many people avoid discipline because they confuse it with restriction. They think, if I discipline myself, I'll have no freedom. The opposite is true. Without discipline, you are a slave to impulse, emotion, and distraction. With discipline, you gain control over your actions, your direction, and ultimately your destiny. Discipline doesn't limit your life, it expands it. Consistency doesn't trap you, it frees you. Because when you live with discipline, you unlock the ability to build anything you choose. Pick one area of your life where you know discipline would change everything. fitness, finances, focus, or relationships. Commit to it fully. Define your non-negotiables. Decide what you will do every single day, no matter what. For example, I will write for 20 minutes. I will exercise for 15 minutes. I will read 10 pages. Keep it simple and achievable. Track for 30 days. For the next month, focus on building streaks. Each day you complete the habit, mark it. Let the chain of progress fuel you. Expect that there will be days you won't feel like it. Pre-decide that you will do it anyway. The harder it feels, the more powerful the discipline you build. Closing thought for Chapter 4. Discipline is not a prison. It is the foundation of freedom. Consistency is not dull repetition. It is the rhythm of transformation. Habits are not chains. They are the keys to mastery. When you align discipline with consistency, you build habits that no setback, no excuse, no weakness can break. You no longer rely on the shaky ground of motivation. Instead, you walk the steady, unshakable path of daily action. This is how unstoppable people are made, not through bursts of inspiration, but through the quiet power of discipline, repeated day after day, until greatness becomes inevitable. And with this mindset, you don't just train your mind to do hard things, you train your entire life to move with unstoppable momentum. Chapter 5. Resilience and staying calm under pressure. Life will test you. It will throw unexpected obstacles, setbacks, and moments of uncertainty your way. And in those moments when the pressure is at its peak, your true strength is revealed. It's not how you act when things are easy that defines you. It's how you respond when the weight of the world feels unbearable. This is where resilience comes in, the ability to bend without breaking, to endure without giving up, and to rise stronger every time you are knocked down. But resilience is not just about surviving the storm. It's about mastering calm within the storm, because when you stay centered under pressure, you make clearer decisions, conserve energy, and position yourself to thrive long after the moment has passed. Resilience is not resistance. Many people misunderstand resilience. They think it means never feeling pain, never struggling, or never doubting themselves. But resilience is not the absence of struggle. It's the ability to keep moving through it. It's not resistance to pain. It's persistence despite pain. Imagine a tree in the middle of a storm. The rigid tree that refuses to bend will snap. The flexible tree that bends with the wind survives. That's resilience. The strength that comes not from resisting pressure, but adapting to it while refusing to be uprooted. Calm under pressure, your superpower. Pressure distorts reality. It makes small problems look massive. It triggers panic, fear, and overreaction. This is why staying calm under pressure is such a rare and valuable skill. Calm is not passive, it is power under control. Think of athletes in the final seconds of a game. The champions are not those who panic and rush. They are the ones who slow the moment down in their minds, breathe deeply, and execute with clarity. Calmness allows you to see opportunities where others see chaos. It allows you to think strategically when everyone else is reacting emotionally. It allows you to stand firm when others collapse. The mindset of resilience. Resilience begins with mindset. If you believe setbacks are permanent, you will break. If you believe setbacks are temporary, you will endure. If you believe setbacks are opportunities to learn, you will grow stronger. Here are 3 powerful beliefs that fuel resilience. This is not the end. It's only a challenge. Every challenge has an expiration date. No difficulty lasts forever. Pressure reveals my strength. Instead of fearing pressure, embrace it as the test that forges your character. Setbacks are setups for comebacks. Failure is not final unless you stop moving. Each fall is a chance to rise high. By adopting these beliefs, you shift from seeing yourself as a victim of pressure to a master of it. Practical strategies for staying calm under pressure. Calmness can be trained. Just as you train your body through repetition, you can train your mind to remain composed in stressful moments. Control your breath. Breathing is the fastest way to calm your nervous system. Slow, deep breaths signal to your brain that you are safe and in control. When under pressure, focus on a 4-second inhale, hold for 4 and exhale for 6. Reframe the situation. Instead of telling yourself, This is too much. Say, this is my opportunity to prove my strength. Words shape emotions. Change your narrative, and you change your response. Detach from the noise. Pressure often comes with overwhelming noise. Other people's opinions, chaos or panic. Learn to step back mentally. Ask, what truly matters right now? Focus only on what you can control. Visualize calm. Before high-pressure situations, picture yourself staying composed. Athletes use this technique constantly. If you've rehearsed calm in your mind, it becomes easier to live it in reality. Build pressure tolerance. Expose yourself to small discomforts daily. Cold showers, fasting or pushing through difficult workouts. Train your mind to stay calm when real pressure arrives. Resilience is what separates those who quit from those who win. They chose to see pressure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. Resilience also protects your energy. Without it, you burn out. With it, you sustain your efforts for the long haul. This is how you keep building momentum when others fade away. Turning setbacks into strength. Resilient people don't just survive challenges. They transform them into fuel. Every difficulty contains a lesson, and every lesson strengthens your character. Ask yourself after every setback, what did this teach me? How can I use this to grow stronger? How will this prepare me for future challenges? By asking these questions, you take control of the narrative. Instead of seeing challenges as losses, you turn them into victory. Action steps for building resilience and calm. To make resilience and calm under pressure part of your identity, take these daily actions. Practice calm daily. Spend a few minutes each day in silence, focusing on your breath. This trains your nervous system to relax under stress. Seek controlled challenges. Put yourself in situations that stretch your limits, like public speaking, difficult workouts or fasting. Controlled pressure prepares you for unexpected pressure. Develop recovery rituals. Resilience is not only about pushing forward, it's about recharging. Sleep, reflection, and mindfulness are vital for long-term calmness. Surround yourself with resilient people. Pressure is contagious, so is calm. When you spend time with people who keep their composure, you learn to mirror. Closing thought for Chapter 5. Resilience is the bridge between hardship and breakthrough. Calm under pressure is the strength that makes resilience unshakable. When you learn to stand tall while others collapse, when you keep moving while others freeze, when you see opportunity while others see crisis, you become unstoppable. Pressure is no longer something to fear. It becomes the forge that hardens your mind and refines your spirit. This is the mindset of a warrior. This is the discipline of a leader. And this is the calm of someone who has trained their mind to do hard things, no matter the storm. Chapter 6. Mastering self-control and delayed gratification. If resilience helps you stand strong during storms, then self-control and delayed gratification help you choose the right path when temptation is pulling you in every direction. In a world that constantly whispers, take the easy way out, grab the quick fix, enjoy the reward now, self-control is the quiet voice that says, wait, think long-term, choose what builds strength, not what brings comfort. Greatness is not achieved in the moments of indulgence. It is built in the moments of restraint. Success is not about what you say yes to, but what you are willing to say no to. And the people who master this, the art of delayed gratification, rise far above those who waste their energy chasing temporary pleasure. Why self-control matters. Every choice you make is a vote for the future you want. Do you reach for your phone in the middle of work or stay focused on your task? Do you spend money on something unnecessary today, or save and invest for tomorrow? Do you give in to anger in an argument, or hold your tongue and respond with wisdom? Self-control is the gatekeeper between where you are and where you want to be. Without it, discipline collapses, habits crumble, and your long-term vision remains out of reach. With it, you build a life where your actions consistently align with your highest goal. The science of delayed gratification. One of the most famous psychological studies on self-control is the marshmallow test. Children were offered 1 marshmallow immediately, or 2 marshmallows if they could wait a short while. Those who waited, those who practiced delayed gratification, grew up to achieve higher levels of success, health, and stability. and those who could not resist. The lesson is clear. Success belongs to those who can delay the reward. Because life's greatest rewards are rarely instant. They are hidden behind patience, persistence, and long-term vision. Think about it. Strength is delayed gratification. You work out today for a stronger body tomorrow. Wealth is delayed gratification. You invest today for financial freedom years later. Mastery is delayed gratification. You practice relentlessly before you ever see recognition. Training your self-control muscle. Self-control is not something you either have or don't have. It is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with consistent use. The more you practice restraint, the easier it becomes. Here are powerful ways to strengthen your self-control. Pick one area of your life to practice control, for example, avoiding unnecessary snacking, or committing to 30 minutes of uninterrupted focus each day. If you want to focus, put your phone in another room. If you want to eat clean, don't stock junk food in your home. Use the pause technique. When you feel the urge to act impulsively, pause for a few seconds. Breathe. Ask yourself, will this decision help my long-term vision, or hurt it? Reward discipline, not indulgence. Reinforce the behavior you want to see. When you resist a temptation, acknowledge it, and take pride in the small victory. Practice discomfort. Do things that stretch your tolerance. Cold showers, fasting, or working without breaks. Training in controlled discomfort builds resilience when real temptations appear. The power of saying no. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something essential. Every time you give in to a distraction, you sacrifice a piece of your future. This is why learning to say no is an act of self-respect. Self-control is not about depriving yourself forever. It's about choosing strategically, about sacrificing what doesn't matter so you can invest in what does. When you say no to procrastination, you say yes to progress. When you say no to impulsive spending, you say yes to financial freedom. When you say no to unhealthy habits, you say yes to vitality and strength. Self-control isn't about restriction. It's about alignment. It aligns your daily actions with the person you want to become. The long-term rewards of delayed gratification. When you master delayed gratification, life opens up in ways that instant pleasure can never provide. In your career, you achieve mastery because you chose practice over laziness. In your finances, you build wealth because you chose saving over spending. In your health, you gain strength because you chose training over comfort. In your relationships, you build trust because you chose patience over impulsive words. Each moment of restraint compounds into a lifetime of rewards. And once you taste the results of delayed gratification, true strength, freedom and fulfillment, the quick fixes lose their appeal. Action steps for mastering self-control. To make self-control and delayed gratification a permanent part of your character, commit to these practices. Is it distraction, food, spending, or negative emotions? Start here. Create a clear rule. Define what you will and will not do. For example, no checking my phone until after my morning routine. Clear rules eliminate notification. When you cut out a temptation, replace it with a positive action. If you stop scrolling aimlessly, fill the time with reading or journaling. Celebrate small wins. Self-control grows when you recognize your victory. Every time you resist a short-term urge, acknowledge that you've just invested in your future. Think in decades, not minutes. When faced with a temptation, ask yourself, what decision will I be proud of 10 years from now? This perspective rewires your choice. Closing thought for Chapter 6. Self-control and delayed gratification are not punishments. They are superpowers. They separate those who drift through life chasing temporary highs from those who build a life of lasting fulfillment. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you cast a vote for your future self. Every time you delay gratification, you step closer to the life you've envisioned. In the end, success is not determined by how much you can achieve in the moment. It is determined by how much you can sacrifice in the moment for the rewards that last a lifetime. Train your mind to control your actions, to delay gratification, and to align with your highest vision. This is how you turn short-term restraint into long-term greatness. Chapter 7. Overcoming fear and self-doubt through thought control. Fear and self-doubt are the invisible chains that keep people from rising to their full potential. They whisper in your ear, "You're not ready. You're not good enough. What if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself?" And if you listen long enough, those whispers become walls. Walls that separate you from the life you could be living. But here's the truth. Fear and self-doubt are not facts. They are thoughts. And thoughts are not commands, they are options. What you choose to believe, what you choose to amplify becomes your reality. The secret to breaking free is not waiting for fear to vanish, but learning to control your thoughts, so fear and doubt lose their grip on your life. Fear, the illusion of danger. Fear often disguises itself as protection. It says, "Don't try that, you might get hurt." In ancient times, this was useful. Fear kept us alive. But today, fear is rarely about survival. It's about perception. It's about imagined failures, imagined rejection, imagined pain. Think about it. How many times have you been afraid to start something, a project, a conversation, a bold move, only to realize afterward that the fear was exaggerated? Fear magnifies the worst possible outcome and makes it feel certain, when in reality, most fears never come true. The first step to overcoming fear is recognizing its illusion. Fear is not a prophecy, it's a perspective, and perspectives can be shifted. Self-doubt, the inner critic. Self-doubt is fear's closest ally. Where fear says this could go wrong, self-doubt adds, "because you're not enough." It attacks your identity, not just your situation. And left unchecked, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But here's the truth. No one is born with self-doubt. Children don't second-guess their ability to run, to climb, to dream big. They act. Self-doubt is learned from rejection, criticism, and comparisons. And if it was learned, it can be unlearned. Self-doubt loses its power the moment you stop treating it as truth and start treating it as noise. The power of thought control. Your thoughts shape your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. If you allow fear-based thoughts to run unchecked, they dictate your life. But if you learn to master thought control, you can redirect your mind toward courage, belief, and action. Thought control doesn't mean suppressing fear or pretending doubt doesn't exist. It means observing your thoughts without judgment, choosing which ones deserve your focus, and replacing destructive patterns with empowering ones. Here are powerful methods to master your thought patterns. Catch the thought. Awareness is everything. The moment you notice fear or self-doubt creeping in, pause and name it. This is fear. This is doubt. Naming the thought separates you from it. Challenge the story. Ask, is this thought based on fact or imagination? Where's the evidence? Most fear-based thoughts collapse under scrutiny. Replace it with power. Once you recognize the lie, replace it with truth. For example, I'm not good enough. I am capable and growing stronger with every step. Echo in action. Fear thrives on inaction. The fastest way to quiet self-doubt is to take a small, courageous step forward. Action turns fear into fuel. Reframing fear. Instead of seeing fear as a signal to stop, see it as proof that you are on the edge of growth. Fear shows up when you're expanding, when you're stepping outside your comfort zone. That means fear is not a red light. It's a green light. It's a sign you're moving in the right direction. Ask yourself, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do? Then do it anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's action in spite of it. Reprogramming self-doubt. Self-doubt is a pattern of thought, and like any pattern, it can be reprogrammed. Don't just tell yourself you're strong, list proof from your past that you've handled challenges before. Build confidence on evidence, not wishful thinking. Visualize victory. Spend a few minutes each day picturing yourself succeeding. The brain responds to imagined success almost as powerfully as real success. Surround yourself with belief. Self-doubt grows in isolation. Surround yourself with people, environments, and messages that reinforce your potential. Fear and doubt as fuel. The final step is transformation, learning not only to silence fear and self-doubt, but to use them as fuel. Every time fear arises, see it as energy. That racing heartbeat, it's your body gearing up for action. That doubt in your mind, it's a reminder to sharpen your preparation. Instead of fighting fear, partner with it. Instead of running from doubt, let it drive you to grow. When you shift your relationship with fear and self-doubt, they stop being barriers and start being catalysts. Action steps for thought control. Daily thought check. Write down your recurring fears or doubts, then challenge and rewrite them into empowering truth. Fear practice. Do one small thing each day that scares you. Strike up a conversation, post your work online, ask for feedback. Exposure shrinks fear. They anchor phrases. Create short, powerful statements you repeat when fear or doubt strikes, like I control my thoughts. I choose courage. They victory journal. Record daily wins, no matter how small. Over time, this builds evidence that you are capable, strong and unstoppable. Closing thought for Chapter 7. Fear and self-doubt don't vanish, but they don't need to. What matters is who is in control, you or your When you learn to master your mind, fear becomes a compass, not a cage. Self-doubt becomes a teacher, not a verdict, and your thoughts stop being enemies and start being allies on your path to greatness. Control your thoughts, and you control your life. Overcome fear, rise above doubt, and step boldly into the future you were meant to create. Chapter 8. Building unshakable confidence through aligned actions. Consistency is not a gift some people are born with while others are left without. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is not about loud, extroverted, or charismatic. True confidence, the kind that cannot be shaken by setbacks, rejection or fear, is built, and it is built through alignment. The alignment between what you think, what you say, and most importantly, what you do. This chapter is about constructing confidence so solid that it does not collapse under pressure. It's about turning belief into proof, thought into evidence, and vision into reality. Because no matter how much you tell yourself you are capable, you will never feel truly confident until your actions align with your intentions. Trust in a relationship is not built by words alone. It is built by consistent behavior over time. You don't trust someone because they tell you they're reliable. You trust them because they show up when they say they will, they follow through on promises, and they prove with action that you can count on them. Confidence works the same way. It is self-trust, and self-trust is not built by affirmations alone. It is built when you keep promises to yourself, when you take the actions you said you would, when you align your choices with your values. That's why many people struggle with low confidence, even though they know they are capable. Deep down, they don't trust themselves, because they've broken too many agreements with themselves. They've said they'll start, but they didn't. They've promised to push harder, but they quit. They've declared their goals, but their actions didn't. Confidence doesn't rise from declarations, it rises from alignment. If you tell yourself you value health but you never move your body, you create inner conflict. If you say you're committed to growth, but you never practice discipline, you create inner conflict. And inner conflict is the breeding ground of self-doubt. On the other hand, when your actions align with your words and values, something powerful happens. Your brain begins to trust you, and when your brain trusts you, confidence follows naturally. It's not about pretending you're strong, it's about living in a way that proves your strength. Why action matters more than thought. There's a reason the most confident people you know often aren't the ones who talk the most, but the ones who consistently do. Actions create evidence, and evidence silences doubt. When your mind whispers, "You can't handle this," you can silence it with proof. "Yes, I can. I've handled harder things before." That proof doesn't come from daydreams or wishes. It comes from aligned action. Every time you push through resistance, every time you honor your word, every time you choose discipline over excuses, you create a deposit in the bank of confidence, and the larger that balance grows, the less fear and doubt can touch you. How to build aligned confidence step by step. 1. Define your standards. Confidence begins with clarity. You cannot align your actions if you don't know what they are supposed to align with. What standards am I setting for myself? Write these answers down. Be specific. Don't just say, I value health. Say, I commit to moving my body for at least 30 minutes every day. Don't just say, I want to be disciplined. Say, I will wake up at 6 a.m. and spend the first hour on focused work before distractions. Each time you say you'll do something and don't, you weaken your self-trust. Each time you say you'll start tomorrow and push it off, you teach your brain that your word is negotiable. The way to reverse this is simple. Start small, but keep every promise. If you tell yourself you'll drink 3 glasses of water today, do it. If you promise yourself you'll do 10 push-ups, don't quit at 8. It's not the size of the action that matters at first, it's the integrity. Confidence compounds with consistency. Keeping small promises daily builds the foundation for bigger commitments. Every time you take action while afraid, you're sending a signal to your brain. Fear does not control me. Start practicing fear-facing habits. Speak up in a meeting when you'd rather stay quiet. Have the hard conversation you've been avoiding. Each time you do, you reinforce alignment. Your actions match your goal of growth, and the more you do it, the stronger your self-belief becomes. Review your evidence daily. A powerful way to build unshakable confidence is to review proof of your own growth. Keep a victory journal. Write down daily wins, times you kept a promise, faced a fear, stayed consistent, or took aligned action. Over weeks and months, you'll have a catalog of evidence that says, I am strong, I follow through, I can trust myself, and when self-doubt strikes, you won't need to fight it with empty affirmations. You'll fight it with undeniable proof. Eliminate actions that break trust. You cannot build confidence while secretly sabotaging yourself. Be honest. What habits, distractions or compromises are eroding your self-trust? Do you say you'll eat clean, then binge late at night? Do you declare a focus hour then scroll instead? Do you promise to save money, but spend impulsively? These cracks in alignment might seem small, but they leak energy and weaken confidence. Identify them and cut them out. Every removal strengthens your self-trust. The cycle of aligned confidence. Here's the beautiful part. Aligned action doesn't just create confidence, it creates a cycle that reinforces itself. You take aligned action, that action creates evidence. Evidence builds trust. Trust creates confidence. Confidence fuels more action, and the cycle repeats, growing stronger with each turn. This is why some people seem unshakably confident. It's not magic, it's momentum. They've built enough evidence that their self-belief is no longer negotiable. Action plan. Building unshakable confidence. Write your standards. List 3-5 specific standards for your life. Make them measurable. Start small. Build trust. Choose one tiny action today that proves you keep your promises. Face fear daily. Do one uncomfortable but growth-focused action every day. Track evidence. Keep a daily victory log. Review it weekly to reinforce proof. Cut weak links. Identify 1-2 habits that consistently break your trust, and eliminate the transformation of aligned confidence. When you live in alignment, you no longer need external validation. You don't need people to tell you you're good enough, because your actions prove it to yourself. You don't need to constantly hype yourself up, because your track record becomes your fuel. You don't wake up asking, can I handle this? Instead, you wake up knowing, I've built myself into the kind of person who will handle this. That is unshakable confidence. It's not arrogance. It's not pretending. It's earned power. It's the calm certainty that comes from alignment between who you say you are and how you actually live. And when your actions match your vision, nothing can shake you. Closing thought for Chapter 8. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you create, and you create it every day. Not through perfect thoughts, but through aligned action. When your thoughts, words, and deeds are in harmony, you stop living as 2 versions of yourself, the one you dream of, and the one you act as. They merge into one. From that place, No rejection, no setback, no criticism can break you, because you don't just believe you are capable, you know it, because you've proven it. This is the foundation of unshakable confidence, and with it, you can step into the final stages of your transformation with unstoppable momentum. Chapter 9. Creating unstoppable momentum through consistency and discipline. Momentum is the hidden force that separates those who dabble in change from those who completely transform their lives. Anyone can start. Anyone can say it. One can say it. And motivated for a few days, but few people learn how to sustain forward motion until progress becomes inevitable. And that is exactly what momentum is. The invisible energy created by consistency and discipline that makes stopping harder than continuing. If confidence is the fuel, momentum is the engine. It doesn't matter how powerful your vision is, how much potential you hold, or how many affirmations you repeat. Without momentum, you'll always feel like you're pushing uphill. With it, every step forward becomes easier, more natural, almost automatic. This chapter is about turning consistency and discipline into your greatest allies, because once you master momentum, you no longer need to rely on short bursts of willpower or fleeting vision. Instead, you live in a flow state where progress feeds on itself, where your habits compound, and where success becomes the natural outcome of your daily actions. Momentum, on the other hand, is like a fire that keeps spreading as long as you keep feeding it with small, steady actions. Think of a train at rest. In the beginning, it takes massive effort to get it moving. The first push feels heavy, slow, and exhausting. But once the wheels are turning and speed is building, the train becomes nearly impossible to stop. That's momentum. Most people quit before momentum has time to build. They expect progress to feel easy at the beginning, but it rarely does. The truth is, the hardest part is the start. But if you can push long enough to create momentum, you'll find the journey not only gets easier, it accelerates. Consistency, the fuel of momentum. Consistency is showing up again and again, regardless of how you feel. It is not about being perfect every single day. It's about refusing to stop. The key to consistency is lowering the barrier to entry. Too often, people burn out because they aim for extreme action right away. They try to overhaul their diet overnight, write 20 pages a day, or commit to working out for 2 hours daily. That level of intensity may last for a week, but it's not sustainable. Instead, momentum is built through consistent, manageable action. Small daily wins that stack on top of each other. One workout, one page written, one honest conversation. Over time, these actions compound into massive results. Here's the truth. Success is rarely about doing something extraordinary once. It's about doing something ordinary consistently. Discipline, the guardrail of momentum. While consistency gets the wheels turning, discipline keeps them on track. Discipline is doing what must be done, even when you don't want. It's the skill of following through on your commitments long after the mood in which you made them has faded. Discipline protects you from distraction. It shields you from self-sabotage. It keeps you aligned when temptation whispers, when laziness calls, or when doubt creeps in. Without discipline, consistency collapses. Without consistency, momentum dies. That's why the two must work together. Discipline is the structure. Consistency is the flow. Together they create unstoppable forward motion. Building momentum through habit loops. Momentum thrives on habit. The brain loves routines because they reduce decision fatigue. When something becomes automatic, it no longer requires debate, negotiation, or emotional bargaining. Here's a simple formula to build momentum with habits. Cue, a trigger that reminds you of the habit. Action, the behavior itself. Reward, a sense of accomplishment or progress. For example, if you want to write daily, cue, sit at your desk with a cup of coffee. Action, write for 20 minutes. Reward, check it off your tracker, reinforcing progress. Over time, this loop strengthens. What was once effortful becomes effortless. What once required discipline alone becomes second nature. Writing 1 page a day may not seem like much, but in a year that's a book. Saving a small amount daily doesn't feel powerful, but over time, it builds wealth. Consistency compounds silently. You may not notice the difference day to day, but in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years, the gap between who you are and who you could have been becomes undeniable. This is why many people overestimate what they can do in a week, but underestimate what they can do in a year. Momentum makes time your ally. How to create unstoppable momentum step by step. 1. Start small but start now. The biggest killer of momentum is waiting for the perfect moment. Start where you are, with what you have, no matter how small. The first step builds inertia. 2. Set non-negotiable. Pick 1 or 2 core habits that you will commit to daily, no matter what. Non-negotiables act as anchors. They keep momentum alive even on your hardest days. 3. Track your progress. What gets measured gets reinforced. Keep a streak tracker, journal, or calendar. Visual proof of progress strengthens consistency and motivates discipline. 4. Eliminate momentum killers. Identify distractions and behaviors that interrupt flow. Procrastination, overthinking, endless scrolling, negative environments. Remove them, and you protect your momentum. 5. Build systems, not goals. Goals are outcomes. Systems are processes. Goals can inspire you, but systems sustain you. Instead of saying, I will lose 20 pounds, create a system of daily movement and clean eating. Instead of saying, I'll write a book, create a system of writing 30 minutes each morning. Systems generate consistency, which fuels momentum. But the key difference is that once momentum is strong, those days don't stop you. When you've built a streak, when you've proven consistency to yourself, missing 1 day no longer feels like the end. It feels like a bump. You correct, you adjust, and you keep moving forward. That's the resilience of momentum. When you see yourself as someone disciplined, someone consistent, someone who follows through, momentum stops being a temporary state. It becomes part of your identity. You don't have to force yourself to act disciplined. You simply act in alignment with who you are. And once identity is aligned, momentum becomes automatic. Action plan for unstoppable momentum. Choose 1 habit to start today. Keep it small but do it without fail. Commit to consistency, not perfection. Focus on never quitting, not on doing everything perfectly. Set non-negotiables. Anchor your day with 1-2 core habits you'll honor no matter what. Track wins. Use visual tools to see your streaks and progress grow. The power of momentum. Momentum is like a wave. Once you catch it, it carries you forward with energy greater than your own. But to ride the wave, you must first paddle. You must fight through the resistance of the start. Once momentum is yours, quitting feels unnatural. Your habits become your second skin. Your discipline becomes your strength. And your consistency makes success inevitable. This is what it means to live with unstoppable momentum. It's not about working harder than everyone else. It's about working consistently, building discipline, and letting momentum do the heavy lifting. And once you harness this force, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Chapter 10. Living a fully transformed life through lifelong perseverance and never giving up. You've walked through every stage of this journey, building self-belief, embracing struggle, strengthening discipline, mastering self-control, overcoming fear, and creating unstoppable momentum. Each chapter has layered brick upon brick, forming a foundation that is no longer temporary but permanent. And now we arrive at the final and most important truth. Transformation is not a moment. It is not a single achievement, a single victory, or a single chapter in your life. Transformation is a lifelong practice. It is perseverance in motion. It is the decision to never give up, no matter what, no matter when, no matter how hard. The nature of lifelong perseverance. Perseverance is not about sprinting hard for a week or a year. It is about running the marathon of life with the mindset that you will not quit. Life will test you again and again. Just when you think you've mastered dawn area, a new challenge will rise. That's not a flaw in the system. It's the very point of life. Growth never stops. To live a transformed life is to embrace this truth. You are not here to avoid difficulty. You are here to grow stronger through it. Each obstacle is not a sign you're failing, but a sign you're leveling up. Perseverance is the bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. Never giving up, the core of transformation. When you commit to never giving up, something profound happens. You stop asking, will I succeed? And start asking, how will I succeed? That one shift changes everything. It takes you out of uncertainty and plants you firmly in commitment. This does not mean the path will always be smooth. You will still stumble. You will still face resistance. But quitting is removed from the table. That simple choice changes the energy of your entire journey. A transformed life, what it looks like. So what does it mean to live fully transformed? It means you act from identity, not just motivation. You are disciplined because that's who you are, not because you feel inspired. You embrace challenges as allies. You don't run from discomfort. You run toward it, knowing it's the birthplace of growth. You are calm under pressure. Storms may rage, but inside you is an anchor that cannot be shaken. You are consistent without excuse. You don't dabble, you commit. You don't try, you do. You live aligned with purpose. Every action flows from a higher vision, a standard that guides your choices. A transformed life is not perfect. It is powerful. It is resilient. It is grounded in perseverance that lasts not for a season, but for a lifetime. The role of perseverance in legacy. When you persevere, you don't just transform your own life, you transform the lives of others. People around you notice when you don't quit. They notice when you keep going after failure, when you rise after setbacks, when you refuse to let circumstances define you. That kind of perseverance becomes legacy. It inspires your children, your friends, your community. It says, if they can endure, so can I. Your never give up mindset creates ripple effects you may never see, but that will outlive you. That is the power of lifelong perseverance. Ask yourself, what's next? Where can I grow stronger? Disanchor to your purpose. Perseverance is easier when you are fueled by something bigger than yourself. Know your why, and it will carry you through the hardest seasons. Refocus in every season. Life will change. Responsibilities will shift. Circumstances will evolve. Each season requires you to re-clarify your priorities and realign your habits. Surround yourself with builders. People who persevere long-term are rarely alone. Stay connected with people who live with strength, vision, and determination. Redefine failure. Failure is not the end. It is feedback. Each setback becomes data, teaching you how to adapt and grow. It's the beauty of knowing that no matter what happens, you cannot be broken. You may bend, but you will not snap. You may stumble, but you will not stop. Imagine waking up every day with the confidence that regardless of challenges you will endure, that you will fight through fear, through doubt, through uncertainty, and come out stronger on the other side. That is freedom. That is transformation. From here on out, the challenge is simple yet profound. Never stop. Never stop growing. Never stop believing. Never stop pushing forward. When fear whispers, keep moving. When self-doubt surfaces, keep building. When obstacles rise, keep climbing. And when the world tells you to quit, plant your feet and declare, I don't give up. I never give up. Closing words. Living a fully transformed life through lifelong perseverance is not about talent, luck, or privilege. It is about choice. It is about discipline. It is about identity. And most of all, it is about the relentless refusal to surrender. You now hold within you the tools, the strategies, and the mindset to train your mind. Rise above your fears and persevere for life. Carry this forward, not as something you've heard once, but as something you practice daily. Because the world doesn't need more people who start strong and fade away. The world needs more people who finish, people who persist, people who never, ever give up. Be one of those people. Live transformed, live resilient, and live with the unshakable mindset of never giving up. If this message lit a fire in you, don't let it end here. Take this mindset and apply it today, tomorrow, and every single day after. And if you want more unstoppable, life-changing audiobooks like this, here's what you need to do. Hit that like button to show your support. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next audiobook that can transform your life. And most importantly, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because growth isn't just about you, it's about lifting others with you. This is your moment. Your transformation has already begun. Stay strong, stay resilient, and remember, you are unstoppable when you never give up. Until next time, this is ReadFlow Audiobooks. Thank you for listening, and keep training your mind to do hard things.